Hi, it's Jill, and this is Easter of 2020, and as is our normal tradition, this is our holiday cocktail. It's my turn, so I'm giving a shout out to my Highland Park Drive ladies. So we're going to do a Bloody Mary. So what I'm going to start with is tomato juice, and I decided to take no salt added tomato juice because that way we can add our own salt with everything that I'm going to add coming up. So we're going to start with this delicious no salt added tomato juice, and we're going to add a number of things to enhance the flavor of the tomato juice. So we'll start there, and I'll add that in a second. The first thing I'm going to do is add some brine of some kosher pickle. And we'll add that. And then we're going to add brine of our olives. So we want to get a good amount of olive juice in there. We want to add some horseradish. I like a little bit of caper, and we don't want capers in this, so we just want some of the brine of that. Not a lot, because not everybody likes capers, but we're just going to add a little bit of that brine. Everybody wants some Worcestershire, so we'll throw that in. And we can always correct the seasoning on these things later, but this is the key. So we're starting this early because we want this to meld for at least several hours. So I'm going to throw in some basil. I'm going to put in some oregano. This is toasted onion powder, and I love this because it has just a little bit more oomph versus normal onion powder. It just has a little bit of nice toasted nuttiness flavor. This is roasted garlic. And then the last thing I'm going to add is dill, which is obviously amazing. Of course, our pickle juice helps that too, but this gives a little bit more freshness. So I'm just going to kind of mix this together, and then we'll throw our tomato juice in. And then after we let this meld, like I say, for at least several hours, then we're going to hit this with a few other things, vodka, beer, and a couple more things. But the biggest key to this is letting this sit for a few hours, and then we'll come back and we'll put this all together. That's it for now. Okay, so let's talk accoutrements for our Bloody Mary. Traditional would be, of course, pickles and olives and a stick of celery. But in the state of Wisconsin, of course, we've got to add our cheese. And we've got beef sticks too. And so what works really well is to have everything set out, and we've got our skewer, and we just kind of go for it. So we've got our string cheese, we've got our pickle, we've got a couple of different olives. Blue cheese stuffed is amazing, but I don't have that today, so we won't have that in our Bloody Mary. And I've got the beef stick, famous from our local meat market, Hell's. I've got shrimp, which is also delicious to add, a wonderful slice of bacon, and I'm going to keep that celery skewer out because that's going to be our stir stick. So that'll be our accoutrement for later for that Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary, part 3. So we're ready to assemble. So we've got our tomato juice that's been melding with our spices, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our glass, and we're going to take our lime that's been sliced, and we're going to just get our rim here, and we'll dip that and roll it in celery salt so we can rim the glass with the celery salt. And then I like to go in with the ice, and what we'll do with our vodka is we'll throw that in. That looks like a good amount, and I like to burn the vodka. This is famously done with rum drinks where they burn the rum, and I like to do that with the vodka. And one of the additions that I like to add to my Bloody Marys is actually Pedialyte. Perfect for people who have maybe had a few beverages the night before having a Bloody Mary. It will help with hydration. And this actually acts as a fantastic supplement to vodka. So if you're making a virgin Bloody Mary, Pedialyte actually acts as a really nice substitute for vodka. So a little bit of Pedialyte is a nice addition to a Bloody Mary. If you're retaining water at all, it really is a nice addition. And then we're going to hit it with that tomato juice. I'm not going to go all the way to the top because we're going to want to be able to stir that. We'll use our celery stick for that. Here, we're going to add some Tabasco, and as much as people want there. Spice that up. We'll add a little bit more Worcestershire. Keep in mind we do have a little bit of that in our mix already, but we'll add that. I like it with a little bit more horseradish, so that's to taste. And then before we finish, I'm going to take that same lime and I'm going to squeeze some of that lime juice in. I'm going to take a lemon, another must. We'll squeeze that in, and then we're going to stir that. And then just a little bit more celery salt to just kick up the flavor a little bit more on top. And then we go with our accoutrement to dress that up, and we are done. Now, for those of you who don't want to invest the time with the tomato juice, you can always go to an already made product like Spooky. Spooky is amazing. Zing Zang is another one that's on the market. All you need to do is go with a pre-made Bloody Mary mix. What I suggest is taste it and correct it the way you like it with some of the other things that I used, or use it just the way that it is. Another thing that I like to do, of course, is add a beer chaser. So we'll do that. I personally like a little bit of that in with the Bloody Mary itself, but you can see we don't have room today, so we're just going to have that on the side. So we'll serve that on the side with our Bloody Mary, and that's our Easter 2020 beverage, holiday beverage. So happy Easter, everybody. Enjoy.